It's me, Mario. We're reviewing the Super Mario Brothers movie today. And joining me is Charlie Hornbacher.
Hello, it's me, Charlie. How's it going?
Bro, you're holding up a mushroom.
Yeah, I wanted to get big.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bro.
All right, guys, welcome back to Red Top Report. I'm your host, Joe Enders, and we're doing another movie review because we went to the movies. I'm talking about Charlie. Charlie's back with us. We saw the Super Mario Brothers movie. Charlie.
Hi, how's it going?
Are you energized?
Oh yeah.
Did you make sure? I mean, you brought all these like wonderful decorations that we have here.
I have Bowser.
We got the RGB. The RGB toads.
The RGB mushrooms, red, green, blue.
Yes, the RGB toads.
And Mario lost his hat. It got blown away by a cloud.
That's completely unfair. So we went and saw the movie. And it was a 3D animated movie. We had Chris Pratt starring as Mario. We had Jack Black playing Bowser. I mean, who was playing? Do you know who played Princess Peach?
I forget her name, but I do know Seth Rogen played Donkey Kong.
That was Seth Rogen.
That was Seth Rogen. Yeah.
Oh, I could not believe that.
Yeah, they say he phoned it in, which.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. I couldn't even tell that it was.
Yeah.
Was him. One of the things that I thought just right off the bat, it seems like they really tried to distance themselves from the woke stuff throughout the movie. It's not entirely unwoke.
It's not entirely unwoke, but it is mostly unwoke. And the one aspect of it that is a little bit woke, which we'll talk about, I don't think is that big of a deal. It actually hinders the story more than it hinders my enjoyment of the movie. Which, by the way, the movie was incredibly enjoyable.
Oh, I loved it. I had a great time watching it.
I don't think I went 60 seconds without seeing some kind of little reference to some Mario game. The way Mario jumped was, in the same style as he does in many of the games. Little tiny things in the background. There was one part where he's running through the Mushroom Kingdom, and the toads are doing like a business deal. They're talking about something, and he's like, "Is it broken?" And the other toad says, "No, you just have to blow into it," which is a reference to the old NES cartridges.
Yep.
You had to blow in them to get them to work.
I remember that too. The first Mario game I had actually ever played was Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64. And there was the two different Bowser levels in the whole thing. There was the one in like the lava world, and then there was the other one. And just playing that game, in the past, and then going to see the movie, it was really good to see. Like, they did a lot of fan service throughout the entire thing. I found it very enjoyable. What I really liked that they did was at the beginning they had like the crazy, like completely Italian accents. Or it's like, "It's a me, wahoo!
It's a perfect, wahoo!"
And all the other stuff that they usually do. But once the movie actually progressed, it was just an ad, and he actually just talked. They actually talked like Italian Americans,
and it works for the story because Mario and Luigi are brothers, and they have their parents in the movie, and their parents had more of an Italian accent, and so you can imagine this Italian family lives in New York, and the parents kind of have the accent, but the children kind of develop the local accent and kind of drop the accent from Italy.
I've heard some YouTubers complain that that he was kind of like wimpy and stuff in the movie. I don't agree with that at all. I thought he was presented as a very masculine character who had a genuine desire for protecting his family, because just to give some people some background, like the plot line of the movie is he has to go and save Luigi, who he's lost, and him and his brother are super close in the movie. Like they're like this, and they said as long as we're together, nothing can hurt us, sort of deal. That was the
masculinity doesn't have to be that you can overcome every obstacle and you can jump across the platforms and beat up the bad guys and always win and always do everything right.
Oh no!
Masculinity is persevering through trial. And although Mario is unable to do the obstacle course, he tries and tries and tries, and he gets hurt during it, but he still gets up and does it. And he perseveres through his little battle with Donkey Kong. And he perseveres at the end with his fight with Bowser. And that's what the story is about. The story is about Mario overcoming the doubts that come across him. He gets those doubts from his father.
Yep.
He gets those doubts from everyone around him except Luigi. And Luigi looks up to Mario, not because Mario is big and strong and can do everything, but because Mario stands up for him and stands up for what he believes
always
in
gets back up.
and protects him and always gets back up.
There was a point at the end of the movie, and spoiler alert, guys. You know, so at the end of the movie, when he was doing his final battle with Bowser, one of the things that I noticed, there was a second where he felt like giving up.
Oh yeah.
And you saw that, and that communicated that. It was actually right while he was standing next to the game. Another fan service reference that said Jumpman on it, which is Mario's original name.
The arcade
game. And Donkey Kong, which he was the character in. So there was a moment where he's like, I can't get back up, and you could see that he wanted to give up. And then I think
their old ad played again. Their ad from the beginning of the movie.
The ad played
randomly played on the TV.
It really connects the American dream, and that's what I liked about it. It connected the American dream with perseverance and forging your destiny through doing what you have to do, not necessarily what you want to do, which is something that kids these days are simply not taught and aren't told. It's been missing in so many other movies, and to see it for the first time, I don't know, since like 2010 was really refreshing.
And another thing is that this relationship between Mario and Luigi is so wholesome and good.
Oh yeah.
And you can't, somehow Nintendo did it, but normally you can't do something like that in a movie without the characters being gay. And of course, Mario and Luigi are brothers, so...
Well, Nintendo was pretty hands-on with this, correct?
Yeah, I heard some rumors, and the rumors I heard are of course, just rumors.
Sure.
I heard on some YouTube video, but there's a rumor that the script was actually pretty woke, and Nintendo stepped in and said, no, Mario saves the day at the end, Luigi has his moment, Peach assists Mario and helps Mario to... overcome the obstacles.
They worked on this film with Universal Studios, and Universal Studios is woke. Universal, Disney, all of those different companies in America are woke. Yeah. Now Nintendo, Japanese company, I mean, they're woke on a lot of different things in there and stuff like that, but they're not really into transgenderism and
the Japanese
LGBT.
Are a different kind of woke. I wouldn't describe it as woke. I would describe it as degenerate.
Yeah.
But they're not woke. They're just degenerate. So, so they want the money. They don't want to push some agenda,
that explains the fan service, by the way.
Yeah, and that's why they give the fan service to everyone. And you know what? I'm going to see a Mario movie not for some story from a script that like is confounding and special and makes me intellectually happy. No, I'm going to see Mario so my nostalgia can be, stroked.
Yeah, and so you can bring like your little nephew or cousin or son or whoever to it. That's what you're going there for, because it's something you enjoyed when you were a kid that you would want to share with your child and stuff. That's what a kid's movie, a good kid's movie, is going to have that dynamic.
And one thing I was worried about before seeing the movie, I knew from the trailers that, of course, Luigi is the one that's needs to be saved, because that was made apparent in the trailer. And my worry was that it was going to be some, woke kind of thing where, of course, Luigi has to be saved and not Princess Peach, who traditionally was the original one captured by Bowser. Here's the thing, though. After seeing the movie, I realized that the story of Luigi being captured and that relationship between Mario and Luigi, as wholesome and pure of a relationship with all that it entails, the masculinity that Mario has, do you think Luigi having to build from that? It was a better story than what could have been if they made Peach the one who was captured.
I agree, and I'll say that I agree for the one reason. I think most people do understand heterosexual relationships, but because of the LGBT propaganda that's been just rolling for the past decade and a half, no one understands how two men can love one another without it being sexual.
Exactly.
That's just completely misunderstood. And what better pairing than brothers to show that, like real blood brothers.
Exactly.
It was very nice. And by the way, I'm willing to bet that Chris Pratt probably had some level of say in that, being the lead and everything.
That would be great
on that dynamic. He is a very strong Christian, from my understanding. I don't know how Christian he actually is. You never know what the
Who
Hollywood,
knows?
You never really know what the Hollywood types, but
and that is the sole reason I would say this is definitely the type of movie you take your boys to see.
yeah.
Now, there's one little issue with the movie. For me, it's a large nitpick.
It's the woke, but it is the woke thing
It's the
that
woke thing
Universal
that
got
held
away
up.
with. That got that through Nintendo.
If that rumor is true that they had a very woke script and then Nintendo came in and said, no, that this is the one thing that was a holdover from that old script, if that story is true. And like I said, it's a large nitpick. I think it's a nitpick because the story was pretty good and it has good moral, wholesome values.
I'll put it this way.
But it's a big one.
I'll put it this way. If this movie came out in 2005, I wouldn't really think there's anything wrong with it.
Sure. Peach, the character of Peach, is perfect in every way and doesn't do anything wrong and can get herself out of any situation and never fails and is never, overcome or beaten up or anything of the sort. At most, she is prevented from being able to save the day, in which case Mario has to come in at the end. Peach is the perfect Mary Sue character of this movie. And here's the thing. I don't think it really made the script suffer all that much.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of an aside character. She's kind of just there to help Mario. The problem with it is that little girls might want to come to see this movie and they see Peach as someone that they could relate to.
Yeah.
And guess what? The character that they have to relate to goes through no trial, goes through no tribulation, doesn't learn any lessons, doesn't gain anything of value. She's the exact same person she was at the beginning of the film as she is at the end. And so their role model is just a boring, dull character. And one note I would say, though, although she is a perfect Mary Sue character in the movie, she's not a girl boss because she's not annoying. She's not Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel from
it's not like insufferable. It's not
movie.
Insufferable. Her character isn't insufferable cringe or anything like that.
She's actually adorable. She's actually adorable in the movie. She has like a lot of nice little scenes with Mario where they're talking about their history and stuff, and I like those scenes.
It does. I'm starting to wonder how true that rumor is, because it really does kind of seem like it's true. Because when I actually look at it, it's like Nintendo crafted her personality, but Universal crafted the CGI and made her do the stuff that she did, because it is weird. It's like a really nice and feminine lady is like this unstoppable girl boss, but it doesn't come across as it's a girl. It seems like what the character does and how the character acts actually don't match up well with one another.
Yeah, there's a role that a character in a story plays for the protagonist in relation to the protagonist, and there's probably a term.
She was caring.
It's the fairy godmother character. The fairy godmother character helps the protagonist to go along the adventure, and Peach is that character, and so Peach doesn't have to have much character growth, if any, which is fine. Also, she's Princess Peach. She runs an entire kingdom. She has a lot of experience.
She is a playable character that does fight in the games as well.
The fact that she's good at stuff is not that big of a problem. The problem is makes her boring.
But here's the thing: there was one scene where she was, and by the way, this goes back to what I'm saying with like the personality thing. She is comforting and sensitive to Mario. Everything a female character I think should be in a movie, and it's a good role model for women to emulate that sensitivity, that caringness. Yeah. But she was like, but they did this little line where it's like, he's sitting there, he's like, it was just as hard for me when I had to start doing it, and he's like, you're not just saying that, are you? And she's like, yeah, I am just saying that. I got it on the first try. And it's just like, that actually made her character worse. That wasn't needed.
Yeah.
That did not need to be in there at all. Like, it would have been so much better if she had to, she's like, yeah, but I grew up here. I was like, yeah, but growing up here should have been the trials. That could have been explained
That
away.
should have been why
is
she
a
was good at the
secondary
trials.
character. You don't need to see her go do the course 20 times. But all she had to say was, I grew up here and it took me years to get this good. And you're doing really good and you're getting here so fast. That's how you create. That's how you, and that would also build up Mario as a real hero character, because it's like, yes, he's not just someone that's almost as good as Peach.
Yeah,
he's actually somebody with the potential to be better than Peach. So that can break the boundaries.
In a strange
forward.
irony, Mario and Luigi are the strongest characters in this movie, in spite of the fact that they are also the weakest, and the strongest character in the movie just so happens to be the weakest character.
Yeah, that is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
I never thought of
Mario
that.
and Luigi, that dynamic there is just great.
Yeah.
It is so great.
It's pure, it's wholesome, it's family friendly. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, there are some bad parts in there that as far as like the way that they portray Peach, but it's not like there's nothing like
I said,
dirty or bad. I would take
it's
a kid
a
to see
nitpick.
it. I would, yeah, it's a nitpick. I would take any kid to go see that movie.
For me, it was a large nitpick because it affects the story, but it was a nitpick. And you know what? Little kids aren't going to know much of the difference.
Yeah.
And they're going to enjoy the movie, and it's a great movie to learn some valuable lessons, especially for the boys who will look up to Mario.
Yeah, and this is a movie for boys, and there hasn't been a movie for boys in a very, very long time. You know, I think I'm starting to notice like a trend here that when a Japanese company gets involved in creating a movie with American companies, the Japanese companies' wishes usually prevail, and the movie actually winds up becoming better because of it. Yeah. We could see the same thing with Sony being involved in the creation of the Spider-Man No Way Home movie. There wasn't really anything woke in there, in that movie, and there was a lot of fan service. There was a lot of what people had been asking for the longest time, and the movie was pretty good. I mean, I think that's the best of the new Marvel movie. It's actually one of the best Marvel movies, period, of Spider-Man No Way
Home was actually pretty good.
It was a pretty good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now, but this is what I mean by the Japanese companies. Now, going back to the Americans, we had John Leguizamo, the there's backlash to the Mario movie. People were upset that it wasn't some woke garbage script.
He played Luigi in the 1993
bomb,
film, which was horrible. It was a horrible
film.
It
was live action, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a live action Mario movie. He played Luigi,
and he complained because
there wasn't enough
Italian representation.
No, there wasn't. Not Italian. He's not even Italian. He's Latino.
Sure.
He was complaining that there wasn't Latino representation in there. I'm like, were you under the impression? First off, I'm half Italian, so this really made me mad. I was like, first of all, what Latino representation? Mario's Italian. He's not Latino. He's not Mexican. He's Guatemalan. He's not Brazilian.
Well, they look the same, don't they? They all look the same.
And now we get to his ethnicity. He's an ethnic Italian plumber. Mario and Luigi. Come on, dude.
There was a meme where they showed a picture of Jack Black from that movie where he plays the Mexican Nacho Libre,
yeah.
and they're like, "What do you mean, no representation?" That made me chuckle.
That's absolutely great. And by the way, that movie was extremely diverse. It was extremely diverse.
Oh, yeah,
we had Koopas, we had
Goombas, Toads.
Goombas.
There were Yoshis in the background.
There was Yoshis in the background.
We had
Kong.
Italians.
The whole Kong Kingdom was in there.
Tall blondes.
Come on. We had everybody in there. John Leguizamo, you stink. We don't like you. You're an idiot. Shut up. But yeah, so there was some backlash from it not being woke.
And you know what? Nintendo's efforts to make a movie that appeases the fans.
Success.
Huge success.
Maybe more?
Bigger than Frozen 2. It's broken tons of records. There's so many different records that this movie has broken over the last week. It's incredible. There's going to be a sequel. We all know there's going to be a sequel because the movie made money. And there's rumors.
It made a ton of money. I heard like $205 million in like the first like I think.
It broke records worldwide. It broke records domestically.
Yeah, it was a super huge success.
And it's all because they didn't make Toad transgender and they didn't make Luigi gay. That's what would have been. So you know what? I'm excited for the Mario Cinematic Universe. You can see my
he's
little
got the
Mario on
socks.
my sock.
Look at that.
Doing
Is
a flex here.
Is that Donkey Kong Mario?
This is Fire Mario.
That's
which
Fire
is in
Mario,
the
it
movie.
is.
Which is in the movie.
Yes, he is.
Yes. So, oh boy.
The other thing we
excited.
didn't really talk much about that I really wanted to bring up before the end, Bowser.
Oh yeah.
Bowser was a pretty good bad guy.
Do you yield? I do not.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was a pretty good bad guy.
Yeah, he's a big old simp.
Yep. It was well. I mean, think about the message there, though. That's a good message.
Yeah.
You can't be like that. He was
Exactly.
He was a guy that was pretending to be big, bad, scary, this, that, and the other. And in the meantime,
And it's
he's
also-
just this weak little beta male. That's
it's also
like
faithful
simping
to
for
the game as well.
Yeah.
He's trying to marry Peach in Mario
Yep.
Odyssey, and so yeah, it was great. And Jack Black, I think, did a great job. I think he was perfect for it.
Could you even tell it was? I couldn't even.
Yeah, I could tell.
I could not. See, you could tell, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was Jack Black until the end of the movie. The singing,
Especially
the
when he
singing,
was singing.
Yeah, the singing should have tipped me off because like the Tenacious D sound,
Yeah,
and all that stuff. But there was one other little nitpick that I think that I had with the movie, and then we could probably wrap it up. I think we've pretty much covered everything that we had. The one little nitpick, and this is something that you brought up after we watched the movie, and I think I agree with you on this. There was the scene. There was like this climax scene in the movie where they're all fighting. Peach, this was actually really cool too. Peach, as a royal would do, handed herself over to marry him to protect her people.
Yes.
Which good. I have no problem with
And
that.
I leaned over at that point in the movie, and I leaned over to you and said, "Now the movie's getting good."
Yep. And they blew it.
They blew it. I was sitting at the
Yep.
edge of my seat because Mario and Donkey Kong are on their way back to save Peach and the Toad
Yep.
from Bowser and the wedding. And I'm like sitting at the edge of my seat. I'm ready for it. I'm like, oh,
That's
the
game
movie's
arc.
getting
Yeah.
so good. This is so awesome that it's redeeming this whole Peach thing where she's
Yep.
perfect. And then what happens? Peach does a backflip and pulls out a frost
And saves
flower
herself.
and saves herself. Of course.
The
Of
movie
course
wouldn't.
she
It
does.
would have been so much better
would
if
have
Mario
been-
saved her.
Yeah.
That's the arc of the entire
know
game
what?
series.
You know what? They could have even made it kind of like a tag team thing. Like she looks over and sees him, so she
Yep.
creates a distraction, and Mario comes in and gets a hit, and then she's able to get.
Yeah, she
the
could have even
power up.
aided in her own
It
rescue.
could have just been so much better. They could have. But you know what? They weren't even halfway there yet.
Yeah.
And she's doing a backflip and saving herself already. And that's the problem. These little girls are supposed to have role models too.
Yeah.
And what do they get? They get someone who's absolutely perfect, which gives them this idea in their head, like they can be perfect and they can be a girl boss. And you know what? That's obnoxious. And they're
Yeah.
going to grow up to be obnoxious, and they're not going to.
Well, they're going to go into the real world and find
Yeah.
out that they're being defeated all the time, and then probably get depressed, have self-image issues.
Yep.
Kind of like
Yeah.
today. Where,
So-
and there's all these issues right now for young women.
Yeah. So movie's not perfect, but
Right.
it's pretty good.
I would recommend people go see it with their
Yeah.
kids.
Focus-
I think it's the best kids movie to come out in a very long time.
Oh yeah, focus on the Mario Luigi
Yes.
story thread there, and you'll
Yeah.
enjoy it very much.
And don't be a Bowser, also known as a simp. Never be a simp. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap up the review right there. Thanks for coming on, Charlie. We
No
always
problem.
appreciate having you on.
It's a me, a Charlie.
It's a me. And with that said, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. So just do us a favor. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to the channel. We need subscribers, guys. We need to keep this thing growing. We need to be growing faster. And also hit that notification bell so you know when we're dropping new content. And you already know. I'm going to say it in like a Bowser voice, too. You need to give us your money. And you can give us your money by going to buymeacoffee.com. Link in the description. Go down there and click that link because we need it. We need the money. And as I said before, guys, you can do a single donation or you can do a monthly Joe for only $5 a month. And with that said, that's all we got for this review. We'll be having Charlie on again in the future as we go to the movies. God bless.